For I dipped into the future, far as human eye could see. Saw the vision of the world and all the wonder that would be. Saw the heaven fill with commerce, argosies of magic sails, pilots of the purple twilight, dropping down with costly bales. Heard the heavens fill with shouting. And the rain a ghastly dew. From the nation's airy navies, grappling in the central blue. Far along the worldwide whisper of the south wind rushing warm. With the standards of the people plunging through the thunderstorm. Till the war drum throbbed no longer, and the battle flags were furled. Parliament of men, the Federation of the World. There the common sense of most shall hold a fretful realm in awe, and the kindly earth shall slumber, lapped in universal law.
Hello, everybody! Welcome to another Vengeance God stream. My name is Mikey Fatum, also known as Vengeance God, also known as, most of you know me as in this chat, I assume, Ambassador Kel. It is good to see you all. Welcome to our summer fun streams. For those of you who haven't been following along, I have been on the East Coast for the last couple of months, so we've been doing, well, for the last couple of weeks, so we've been doing spooky late night streams. Woo! And if you're just new to this channel, hello, my name is Mikey. I used to be the community manager for Star Trek Online, Champions Online, and Neverwinter. Counselor Suna has stepped into my boots and is doing a bang-up job. And I am going to be, well, we stream something different every day. Mondays, we usually do Star Trek Online. Since we do this Tuesday, we did Yakuza 0 last night. Tuesdays, right now, is usually Yakuza 0. Wednesdays is usually Warframe with my friends Maury and Rowan. They're very funny. Thursday is Mass Effect Andromeda. And Friday is WWE 2K25. My wife and I are playing My GM mode, where we book different wrestling shows for better or for worse. Hello to everybody. Hello, Sana. Hello, Brian. Hello, Eric. Hello, Cowboy. Hello, Ice Queen 142. There are 75 of you in here. I feel like I should hold the guests hostage until all of you follow and subscribe. Can I do that? Is that legally allowed? No, I'm being told I cannot do that. Yes, Suna has a thing in my ear now. It's actually biologically implanted. No, we have a very exciting stream for y'all today. Cryptic Studios and Deca once again reached out to me and asked me to help them promote their newest bundle, the Timeless Legacy Bundle. Y'all just saw the kick-ass trailer for that. Absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to get my hands on those ships. Although, as I said to the gang backstage while we were watching it, there were all these beautiful Klingon ships in the trailer. Maybe we could have just cut the Federation ships out and done the glamour shots of the Burrell. Would have been, maybe a little higher quality. Thank you for the subscription, Fleet Admiral Talaknar. Capwit says, I'm jumpy. I don't know what that means. Am I like, or is it just like I'm kind of going, let me know. But anyway, if you're new here, if this is your first time, welcome. Please feel free to throw a follow. We do a lot of STO stuff on here, and I try to drag folks like these on the stream as often as I can. So, oh yeah, I am a little jumpy. I can see it on my virtual camera. Well, I'll just be a robot today. All right. It would be great to see those TOS Raptors playable at some point. Yeah. Oh man, now Chad is saying they want KDF ships. Well, we'll discuss that. I'm happy to introduce at this time my guests. Oh, thank you very much for the subscription, Master Chief. And I see Zaved gave out some subscriptions as well. 10 gifted subscriptions. Thank you very much. That is awesome of you. I really appreciate that. I'm still looking for a new gig, but the video game market out there is... So I'm trying to do this full time. And I love doing this, so it'd be great. The more of you subscribe, the more I can do this and also feed my family, which is a thing I enjoy doing. So, with all of that said, and without any further ado, thank you for the subscription, 47 Alpha Tango. I appreciate you. All right. We're gonna dive in now and introduce our wonderful, beautiful guests. I'm gonna adjust this camera one more time because I'm like only half on screen. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome some of my favorite people in the world. Incredibly talented and incredibly passionate developers of Star Trek Online. We are joined by Jeremy Randall, Pundus, and Thomas Maroney. And as I said just before the stream started, every single one of these frames would be messed up. And lo and behold, they all are. So, how are you guys today while I fix this stuff? Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the Timeless Legacy bundle. How did that all come about, and what was sort of the inspiration? Any of you who wants to jump in? Oh, yep. That fixed the problem. Sorry, go ahead, Thomas.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, they should be able to.
All right.
I got distracted by fixing your cameras and forgot to unmute you. Professionalism, everybody. That's what we promise here.
No, we're really glad to be here, Mike. Just want to lead off saying, which I should have done in the first place. Thank you so much for having us back on your stream. It's great to chat with you about STO and ships again. It always is. So thanks for having us here.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. It's our pleasure. So yeah, as far as the Timeless Legacy bundle, we plan out our ship releases about 6 months ahead, and you're thinking about what's going to happen in kind of sequence. We knew we were doing the kind of the TMP theme bundle for the 15th anniversary, and so following up on that, I knew that there were in that bundle we did the Ark Royal from Starfleet Command. I knew that there were other ships from Starfleet Command and Star Trek Legacy that the players were also excited to get. Obviously, we did the Heritage bundle last year. That was a super huge success. It was a year ago, basically from now. So that was kind of the germ of the idea. Is like, okay, we got the Ark Royal, and let's see what else was in that TMP bundle. We had
ancient history at this point.
Oh man. Yeah. Sorry. My brain is scrambled eggs. Keen, what did we have in the TMP bundle? It was the Corolla, the Ark Royal.
Akro, Shangri-La, Kerala, and the Pioneer 2.
Right. So the Pioneer 2 was from the past, a STO era, like a STO TOS ship that we upgraded, and that's something people have been asking for a long time for a T6 Pioneer. Ark Royal from Starfleet Command 2, and the Kerala was something brand new, just because we knew the Gagarin Shepard family was very popular in the history of STO, so we thought, hey, it'd be cool to do a TMP variant of it, and of course the famous Shangri-La, kind of in the heritage of the Constitution 3 by Bill Krause, something I'd wanted to get into STO for a very long time. So that was an awesome bundle that really paid tribute to that era of Star Trek, which everybody knows by now is my favorite. But there were still ships that there's still ships that I wanted to do that we couldn't fit into that bundle, which included the Okinawa. And then for Keen, I know you really love the Proxima from Legacy, and that was something we had talked about that you wanted to do for the TMP bundle, but we couldn't make it in. And so kind of like, okay, well, what's the next thing that we're doing in the wake of the Heritage bundle, in the wake of the TMP bundle? And so that's sort of where we landed. We started with okay, well, there's the Okinawa, there's the Proxima, and so I think sketched out this originally was going to be a TMP bundle too, but that wasn't really good enough for me thematically. Like I wanted this thing to stand on its own, and like how do we make it, give it its own identity so it doesn't feel like Heritage Bundle 2 or TMP Bundle 2. Like what else is interesting about these ships that we can tie them together, and that's when I sort of realized that there was a TOS version of the Okinawa in the Star Trek Crew IDW comic book. There is obviously a TOS version of the Proxima from Star Trek Legacy, and then we had a TOS version of the Ranger in Star Trek Online already. And the TMP Ranger was something that we were talking about doing, and so that became the glue that sort of started to hold this bundle together, and why we kind of arrived on Timeless Legacy as the name. Is like, okay, well, we were going to do a 25th century version of these ships already, but let's do these TOS versions too, and then celebrate like the progression of all three of these ships through the different eras of Star Trek. And so you start in the TOS era for all three of them, and then you have the TMP era that are kind of the most famous era for the Proxima and the Okinawa, and then you have what is the advanced STO era version of the ship look like. And so that became a way to give this bundle its own identity beyond just being another TMP bundle.
Very cool.
It kind of bloated it a little bit, but in a way that we're all happy with in retrospect. It was just a 3-ship bundle, and now essentially it became a 9-ship bundle with all the different costumes.
But a
in the sense of art,
for the cost of a 3-ship bundle, everybody.
Right? Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying something, Jeremy, and I interrupted you with my hilarious.
No, that's
joke. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's interesting. We'll see how I hope people like it. I hope people go and buy it because we want. I mean, we want to give people more. Like, it's fun to give people more visual options and visual variants for these ships. And so if this does well, that's a good signal to us that it's worth doing. It's worth investing that effort into the bundle. Not to put too fine a point on it, but
Thomas, I have a question for you. Did this also end up being a good training exercise for our new DECA ship artists to understand the different eras and everything?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's and it was also a good training exercise. So Scorpion Design in the chat, Jamie Armstrong Hughes did a lot of the concept art for this bundle. They did they kind of updated the look of the TOS Proxima. They concepted out the Ranger 2, the TMP version of the Ranger. And it was fun for them to work in, I'm speaking for them, but they told me that it was fun for them to work in eras and aesthetics that they hadn't really had much practice in. So they updated we're calling it the Ventura, the TOS Okinawa, did some work on that. And so the TOS era was an era that when they started out, working in the bundle, they really didn't like. They didn't really care about the TOS era. But
And
as
then
they
you strapped
worked
them
with
to a
it,
chair
and
and held their eyeballs open and forced them to watch that one
yes,
scene
exactly.
from the motion picture on loop.
Basically, but as they worked on it, we talked about the inspiration of mid-century modern cars and furniture and architecture, and like you start to dive into it and you see that there's actually a lot there. People sort of assume that TOS means like boring or simple, but there's actually a lot going on when we really dive into it. And so I was really proud of the fact that when they came away from that, they came away with some really cool variants in the TOS era for these ships that I think people are really going to enjoy.
Nice. Quick note, because I just saw something pop up in the chat. I actually, no, never mind. Every other developer on the game seems to be in chat. So I was going to say don't report bugs in chat because I can't respond to them and I'm not going to pass them on to these guys while I'm doing an interview. But everyone else is there. So go ahead, post bugs in chat. I actually don't care.
You guys didn't know already. We do have a Discord, an official Discord server now as well. That's another valid way for you to report bugs to us.
It's pretty tight. It's pretty tight. Captain Wit9, I am aware that everyone is freezing at different points. Although I actually think Jeremy isn't frozen. I think he just doesn't move very much.
No, I am frozen.
Oh, you are frozen? Okay. Try turning your camera off and back on again. Oh no, wait, that won't matter. Actually, try moving the character around to make sure the stream isn't frozen, because that would be a problem.
Yeah, I tried that. It's not. It's
okay, then
frozen.
yes, try turning your camera on and off and back on. And that's gonna break everything for 30 seconds. Enjoy giant pundits. There we go. We might just have to do that every now and then. Yeah, so folks, at home when I'm streaming these wonderful totally professional, obviously professional streams that I do, we have my super powerful Borg Cube PC. I am on vacation and I am streaming on this very old gaming laptop that I love very much, but Lord, she be struggling. She be struggling a little bit. So Thomas, you might want to try turning your camera on and off as well. Pundus, you are totally fine and have been the entire stream. I don't know why it likes you best, but all right, cool. We appear to be back. I see an idle animation. All right, there we go. So
I had to restart our virtual camera.
This might be a stream of weird camera things, and I apologize for that, guys. Doing the best we can with the internet connection and the computer that we have.
I don't necessarily care if people see my face either, so if it comes down to it, if it's less distracting to turn off our cameras, I'm totally okay.
Okay, we'll see. It might be better to just throw up the stream and put you guys off. But Jeremy, are you frozen again?
I think so.
Yeah, let's try that. He is. Let's try that. Everybody turn off their camera, except for the stream. Leave the stream open.
Okay, I'll turn my face off in the
face off
virtual cam, and then I'll restart it.
Okay, now, oh my God, that looks terrifying. What is happening? Okay, turning off Discords that aren't the background. That one's the background. Okay, now I have to turn off the frames that aren't my face. Okay.
She's doing the safety dance. All right.
All right, there we go. That is flowing much better. So, folks, you're going to have to just be like, use the theater of the mind. Imagine you're playing a really cool game of Star Trek Adventures. And you won't be able to see anyone but me. But the good news is I'm beautiful.
I can pick my nose now.
Okay, so so I know, Jeremy, you wanted to start by talking about some of the extra stuff that's in the bundle. We saw that in the trailer. I see before us the cadet uniform from Wrath of Khan. Tell me more.
All right, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I know everybody tuned in to see the ships, but just to make sure you get a glimpse of all the other stuff that's in the bundle. This is one of the offerings, the Wrath of Khan cadet uniform. It comes with a whole bunch of rank customization, top, pants, boots, the whole shebang. Really great if you want to get into the role play of the motion picture era. This turned out really great. I love the little folds and everything.
It turns out a bunch of people in chat are here for the uniforms, Jeremy, so you're good.
Thank you all. Okay, the next thing I'll show off. Oh,
well, you get that ready. I do want to talk a little bit more about the uniform real quick. So, this is it did double duty as a cadet uniform, but also was used for enlisted personnel. So like petty officers, warrant officers, crew, able seamen, et cetera, et cetera. That's what the ranks are that this comes with. Yeah.
I'm mature. I'm very mature, and you all know this.
But the rank devices are on the sleeve on this uniform, and what we've included are the rank devices for the enlisted crew. And otherwise, it also includes a belt, which I don't think we have on here. And another bit of trivia about this is that these are actually re-dyed motion picture uniforms. And then I think they added the yoke and the the collars and stuff. And then they added some stuff to the back. But the started life as the uniforms from Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and then they did some edits to them for Wrath of Khan. So I just think that's a fun little bit of trivia.
I'd like to headcanon that's actually what happened in universe as well. They had all
Sure.
these silver shiny uniforms laying around, and they were like, "What if we dyed them the colors of the new uniform, so we didn't have to make uniforms for the enlisted and the cadets?"
Yep, exactly.
All right, so the next thing to show off is the new EV suit.
Oh, we had a question come in. I think the answer to this is no. Is the uniform and I assume the EV suit going to be sold separately, or are they bundle exclusive?
These are bundle exclusives.
Figured.
As with anything that is a bundle exclusive, there is an off chance that they appear elsewhere in the future, but we make no promises for the time being.
Okay. So tell us about the EV suit.
So this is the EV suit that Spock used in his extravehicular activities within V'ger in the motion picture, a recreation thereof. It's a little less bulky, I think, than what you actually saw on screen, but that was necessary in order to kind of fit our form factors in the game. Thomas, do you want to share anything more about it?
Yeah, this was also seen in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Captain Terrell and Chekhov wore EV suits like this when they went down to investigate the surface of Ceti Alpha 6, which they later found out was Ceti Alpha 5.
This is Ceti Alpha 5!
Exactly. So I'm excited to. I always love this spacesuit. I'm excited to have it in the game. Let's see. This is not a costume unlock for this. It's just the spacesuit, so you have to equip it in your EV suit slot and switch it out like normal. Most EV suits are like that in STO. I think that's pretty much it.
Someone was asking if
it's
this is a map in game or if it's a special map. This is a character test map that they're using because it has good lighting and you can see stuff. And I love the reflective visor very much. It was taking me a second to figure out what was going on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's this pad reflected.
Yeah,
we have reflect maps on any map, and I recall this being a bit of a challenge because of the size of the reflective surface here, but I think it came together really nice with a little bit of scunge on there.
Yeah, I needed a little weathering and detail on it to make it feel not, too much like a game asset. But yeah, it turned out really, really nicely.
Sweet. First person to send me a screenshot of themselves reflected in somebody else's EV suit helmet gets at least a high five.
That's unfortunately that's not how reflect maps work.
Oh, damn! Never mind.
It's not an actual reflection. You can tell.
You can Photoshop it.
Yeah. There you go.
Projection of the map. Anyway, this came with so we made custom visual effects for the lights here. That's really cool. And it has a custom power baked in, which is an arm scanner. Let me make some enemies here to use this on. You're just going to spawn inside the ground? You're embarrassing me right here on live stream?
I'm going to scan the heck out of you.
I'm going to scan your butt. Okay. And it's essentially, so it's a cone-based version of the tricorder scan power that science captains already have access to, but now everybody has access to it. So it debuffs the damage resistance and stealth of anything that's in your cone of effect, and it can expose them as well. Neat. And that's just baked into the power, so it's just right into the into the EV suit, so you can use that as long as you have this active.
One other bit of trivia is that we built the floater, summer event thruster floater, to work with this EV suit.
Oh,
so
nice.
if you wear this EV suit and you're using that floater from from the motion picture that we just recently added to the new summer event, they'll fit like they fit in the movie. So that's pretty cool.
Very neat. Someone correctly pointed out that this uniform looks a little bit like I need to call a meeting because I saw Orange killing someone in the kitchen.
Yep.
A little Among Us. Yeah.
Quick question from chat. I think for both of these costume items, are these reclaimable or is it just for the person who opens them?
This is reclaimable. There's some other stuff in the bundle that is a one-time, like I think there's ship slots and ship upgrade stuff, and that's all one time. But these will be reclaimable on your whole account.
Sweet. Thank you very much for the follows, Barbie Marine and Fargan Icehole 77. And thank you very much for the subscription, STOFSK. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Oh, and whoa, Endeavor and Scorpion. Sorry, I'm just seeing this. This is like an hour or 15 minutes ago, but gifted a whole bunch of subs as well. Thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. All right, so that is the
One last thing to show
yeah,
off on the
show it.
ground, which is a kit module that comes with this that allows you to actually summon a SETI Alpha 5 eel of your very own
What?
that will go around and attack and mind control your enemies. So let me
Nope,
just show
ad.
off.
We might want to wait until this ad breaks
Whoop.
over.
Oh,
I will
ad.
wait for the ad break.
Okay, we will wait.
Actually,
Thank
while
you.
we're waiting for those who are tuned in, I'll go ahead and show the tooltips. I know some people out there like these. So here's
you
the
can take
tooltip for the
screenshots for your
environment
videos.
suit. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna.
I'll leave that up for
I
a
guess I
little bit.
let my subscription lapse. I gotta resubscribe to Mike.
Oh my god. Well, thank you very much for the subscription. I really appreciate it. Oh, for those of you who are subscribed and can still see me, there's been points redeemed to make me do the Victory of Sompek dance. So, whoop, a whoop, a whoop. Go ahead.
I just wanted to call out that I know that these things are a little fuzzy. We had some technical difficulties before the stream,
Yep.
so we're working with a slightly lower bit rate today, and I apologize for that.
Oh,
We'll
you
try
know
to
what?
get that
I
solved
might
in the future.
actually, now that I think about it, I can fix that. Actually, well, I can't fix it, but I can make it better. It is going to make everything look weird on the screen for a second, but that is okay. I can get you some higher res. I have the technology.
Bring me the res.
Build me a resolution worthy of Mordor.
I want the one with the 5Gs.
All right, there we go. That's going to be a little bit higher. Yes, the res does. Actually, the res isn't better than the riz flow. The res equals the riz. The more res you have, the more riz you have. That's why everyone
Lesson
uses.
for all the kids out there.
Yep, that's why everyone uses all these high quality webcams, like me.
The ones that you guys can't see.
Yep.
All right. Are we ready to show off the eel in action?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see an eel. And folks who are stuck in the ad break, I'm very sorry. The best way to solve that is to subscribe. Wait,
So
so
this
it's a
little
big
fellow will
SETI
go
eel
around-
that births smaller SETI eels?
That infect the ears of people, mind controlling them, and yeah.
I love this thing so much.
It will also use
And-
just
and-
standard like toxic spit attacks to deal damage to enemies.
Can you slow down and zoom in to show off the
Yes.
ear action?
The ear action?
It's so good. So the so effects artist Andrew Nielsen set this up. And it shoots larvae right at people. It shoots like these toxin things, and then every now and again it'll shoot little mind control larvae.
There's one.
Um,
Oh no!
and then the larva actually goes inside their ear.
Oh my god. Hey everybody, did you want to have nightmares today in Star Trek Online? Ear eel pets. And Duncan wants one in a Starfleet uniform to go with Lieutenant Tardigrade. I just report what the people want.
We have talked about maybe making separately pets in the future, so it's not outside the realm of possibility. And it dies and explodes when it runs out of time.
Oh my god, that's brutal. Hey, remember when our rating went up to teen? Now it's going to M.
Yeah, I
We
think
might
we'll actually
change that.
be
We've talked about
replacing that.
yeah. It just burrows back down instead of always dying.
But then again,
But,
the only good ear eel is a dead ear eel.
All All right, so that is our additional bundle offerings here. So
That is beautiful. I love all of this so far. It's making me want to go back and watch all the TOS movies.
All right, so I have the wrong ship. Is it possible to turn off my cam for 3 seconds?
Yeah. Are you gonna turn it off, or do you need me to turn it off?
Oh, right. I can turn off my cam.
Yeah. I'll just go back to my solo
Sure.
camera for a minute. So yeah. Actually, Brian Denham, I have seen SETI Alpha or SETI Eel earrings. They had them at Universal's FanFest nights this year, which a lot of the merchandise was not as exciting, but those were pretty cool. Do they taste like gah?
They had
Yeah.
those like SETI eel chocolate bars at FanFest too
Oh,
for some reason.
yeah.
I don't really know why, but you know, whatever.
In case you want to ingest it instead of putting it in your ear. Now, if they had SETI Eel eardrops.
So I just noticed that I'm going to have to turn off my camera switching between the 3 ships as well as we turn them off.
Okay.
Or as we show them.
Just let me know when, because if I'm
problem.
not reminded, it will never happen. Are we good to show you again, or?
We are good to go. I put on the Warden to start with.
Okay. Let us take a look at the Warden. Ooh, very pretty. I love Gagarin type ships so much. So, Thomas, tell us a little bit about this baby and her design. Or Pundus, actually. I haven't made Pundus talk yet. Pundus, tell us a little bit about this baby and her design.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't work on this one, so I'm pushing it back to Thomas.
Never mind.
We'll
Don't sit in the corner, Pundus.
We'll make Pundus talk about the Proxima.
Yeah.
But this is the Warden. So when we kind of landed on the whole Timeless Legacy thing, and we decided that each ship, you know, will by default represent an era of Star Trek ship design. They all have access to skins from all 3 of the eras, right? The TOS, TMP, and Stowe era. But we decided that it made sense for the Warden, which is the built on inspired by the Stowe's original Ranger TOS battlecruiser. It made sense for that to be the Stowe era ship because it's the Ranger originally was a Stowe original design that we created for Agents of Yesterday. And we have the 3 costumes for it. Obviously that comes with the TOS Ranger, and then it comes with the motion picture era Ranger 2. And then the default skin is what we're looking at now, which is the Warden. This was designed by Jamie Armstrong Hughes and modeled by Tobias Richter. It's a really cool take on this footprint. And this is a multi-mission cruiser, which I think is a fun category of ship. I don't know, Jeremy, if you want to go to the Taylor and show off the other variants really quick before we start talking about stats.
You should give yourself some vanity shields to show off too.
I don't know if we'll have time for that today.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I'd usually love to, but we need to get through 3 whole ships and everything that they have to offer. So
all right.
I might hold on.
Yeah, there's a lot of stats and stuff. There's some really cool traits on these guys and the consoles and experimental weapons and stuff. So
okay.
Recently we did so there's the Warden, and then if you click on the Ranger, we recently remastered the Ranger. I think people probably can figure out why. Yep. In anticipation of this bundle, we remastered the Ranger. That remaster was done by Ramon Matas, deck ship artist. Ramon did a great job. It was a lot of fun looking at like inspiration from like 60s era jets and cars about how to kind of bring this this Ranger, make it more fleshed out, but still the kind of the TOS era aesthetic. I'm really happy with how it came out. It has the new Type 0A material, TOS material inspired by the Smithsonian restoration of the original Enterprise. We recently added that to the Constitution and the Pioneer with the 15th anniversary bundle. But for this bundle, we wanted to give the Ranger that treatment as well. As part of that, go ahead.
I love this little 1960s sci-fi dome thing on the top.
Yeah, and that's actually part of the original design. We put that there for the temporal mechanic
Mhm.
the ship has. I think that changes color based on what temporal powers you have.
Yeah.
And as part of the remaster process, we also cut up the Ranger and the Paladin so that you can kind of mix and match parts. It used to be
Oh,
we didn't really touch the Paladin other than splicing it up, but Ramon did a great job, um, splitting things up so that you can mix and match parts, which
Oh,
didn't used to be an option
dang, that
before.
looks really cool. I
So
love the
Yeah.
mix
it
and
is
match
worth calling out
versions.
that it is worth calling out that the Paladin exterior is not included in this bundle. But if you own it separately, you can mix and match those costume pieces.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
We had a question from chat. Ice Queen wanted to know if the original Ranger console will be able to be used on this ship, on the Warden.
We've been making an effort, but I can't say for certain if we pulled it off, of unrestricting consoles as we come across them that can be unrestricted.
Yeah.
So I'd like to say yes, but I can't guarantee that we did it this time around. It's one of those things that kind of has a tendency to slip through the cracks, unfortunately. So if it's not unrestricted as of today, I think we'll take a look at it and see if we can do it for like a patch next week, because
Do
we
it.
do like to do that when we're revisiting ships.
Do it right now, Jeremy, on the stream.
And
Do
I'm,
it. Do it. Pull up your tools and just do it.
technically, I could,
I
but
know.
I'm not gonna.
I make jokes because they are things you can actually do.
Yeah, so just back to the ship art, the Ranger 2 was designed by Jamie Armstrong Hughes. Ramon Matas did the model on this one as well. It turned out really nice. I think I know people have been asking for TMP versions of these Agency Yesterday ships for a very long time. And the Pioneer 2 went over really well, so I hope people enjoy the Ranger 2. I also want to call out the we decided, just for the sake of like variety and because I think it works really well, we decided to use the Shangri-La nacelles instead of the Constitution nacelles on this,
Yeah.
now that we have the Shangri-La in the game, and I think that worked out well. I also want to shout out Keen. Keen went through and made lots of different variants of the nacelles so that you can have like the different nacelles with the different it's in the style there on the yeah,
Oh,
you can have
yeah.
like different color options for like
Oh,
we want
dude.
this to be lit or this to be unlit or whatever. So people have lots of customization to work with on these
That's
ships.
awesome.
Yeah. And to add to that, and this applies to all the ships in the bundle, all of the nacelles will have one extra variant. So, for example, all of the TOS style nacelles will have a cage style variant on all of the ships. The TMP style nacelles will have the different bits lit up variants. So the grills lit up and the basards lit up. And for the STO era nacelles, for those with the glowing orange basart caps, you can turn that off with the vanity option for the nacelles if you want to use, say, vanity shields on them to recolor the basards. It's something that I tried out with the Echelon with Thomas's permission, and since people liked it, it's been done to the ships in this bundle.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Thank you
Cool.
for doing that, Keen.
Yeah.
Just gonna hit
Yeah.
randomize a few times to show off how this can mix and match.
Endeavor says you're the reason the video for this ship is gonna take hours. Pundus. Well done.
Nice.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's great seeing all the different like options you have with the materials and stuff, all the different Starfleet materials and how they look on some of these ships. I think
I like the deep red in this. That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
nice.
neat.
The Warden, if you just click on that really quick, we already talked about it kind of at the top. This is a STO era Ranger. It's meant to be super sleek and advanced. I think I've already seen some people really happy with how it turned out. I think this is a great look to add to kind of the STO era. So
Yeah, it's one of those really
yeah,
cool, like you can tell it's from the same family, but it looks so sleek and modern, like you said. I also love that
Yeah.
the more advanced your Starfleet ship is, the more of your saucer is missing.
that does dovetail with the floating nacelles in Discovery, doesn't it?
It
All right, let's get into the mechanics of this ship real quick, and then we'll move on to
Sounds
the
good.
next
I was going
one.
to ask if you wanted to
the
do
bundle.
all visuals or do mechanics after each visual.
Because I have to shut off my camera to change ships,
Yep.
let's do one ship at a time.
Sounds good.
Stem to stern.
You've
All right,
also got a
so,
giant floating exclamation point at the top right. I don't know if you're aware of that.
That's part of the map geo on this test map.
Okay.
That's like, hey, things will spawn over here, dummy.
Remind me to
anyway.
send you the map name for the Protostar map because it's so pretty.
Yeah. I just this is the test map for combat
Yeah.
that the systems team uses, so I just like
Okay.
default to it. Okay, so let's talk about the console on the Ward. This is the expanding sphere generator, which was taken from I don't remember which game. Tell me which
Starfleet
game
Command.
it's from. Starfleet Command. In that game, the expanding sphere generator was something that you could use to defend yourself from incoming torpedoes. Yeah, it was from a race of people called the Lyrans or Lyrans, as
Yeah.
Master Chief pointed out. So we tried for this whole bundle to take as much inspiration from those video games where these ships come from to help us, pay homage to their previous experiences. So the expanding sphere generator here is one example of that. And I will go ahead and activate this power so you can see how it kind of looks in action. We tried to also take visual inspiration from these, but then update them to more modern sensibilities.
Ooh.
So this grows over time out to a size of 5 kilometers radius, and it essentially just damages everything in the area, and it keeps growing. And then it also does. Sorry, it's been a while since I looked these over. It does radiation
been a
damage. It
while.
also reduces the shield resistances of anything that gets affected, and it will actually just flat out destroy small targets like mines, torpedoes, fighters. Obviously, not all torpedoes, but anything that can be targeted. This will just destroy it. And it follows you around. You can fly around with this thing in action. So get up close and personal with your enemies and destroy them with your sphere generator.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty
sorry,
nice little
I've just
straightforward.
noticed in chat. Apparently, chat thinks I said a bunch of things I did not say, which is confusing. Also, it froze. So let me just close it and reopen it. So does this move with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Neat.
so you can chase things around and burn them with your radiation sphere. Yes, absolutely. Just for the sake of those who want it, let me hold up the tooltip here for a second. I do want to point out that this console is the only one in this bundle with a special passive. It has kind of a trigger thing that when you receive a debuff once per 30 seconds, you will automatically cleanse that debuff and get temp HP instead. So instead
Nice.
of this console just giving you like passive stat bonuses as its passive effect, it actually has this little triggered effect. This is something we decided to kind of experiment around with, and we'd like to hear how players feel about this sort of passive on future consoles, or if they prefer to just have plus phaser damage or whatever the case might be. There's probably room for both in our future builds.
Okay, I terribly apologize. I just realized something very strange is happening. When people post in chat in Twitch, what's popping up on the screen and in my multi-chat here is some sort of copy and paste of a previous thing. So I thought everyone was posting that Pundus was responsible for the long video as a joke, but it actually looks like it's a bug, and it's just making people say "get in the starship Shinji" over and over, among many other things. So I'm going to close that multi-chat, and I'm going to bring up just Twitch chat in the same window, because that seems to be working. Those of you on YouTube, I apologize, but I think most of our audience is here on Twitch, so.
All right. So moving on from the console, this also has a new starship trait called the Hellbore Light. So the Hellbore was something that was present in, again, I don't know which name. Do you know the game?
Yeah, it was another Starfleet Command thing, and it was by the Hydrons, race of people, aliens called the Hydrons used that.
I love every time that Jeremy is asked a question, Thomas or Pundus has been on answering it immediately about what game it's from, and then chat, like a one stream delay later, immediately answering as well.
Yeah. So this trait, I want to show off the visuals for it, because very frequently we don't make new visuals for starship traits because they trigger so frequently, but this is one where we took some extra effort to do this. So pardon me while I cheat on live stream.
Some maximum effort.
To give myself the starship trait and get it equipped. Oops, that's a spoiler.
Don't worry, I'm sure no one screenshot that.
It's
Well,
fine.
while you're getting that set up, I want to credit the effects artist who worked on both the expanding sphere generator and the Hellbore, Tobias Wahlberg. Tobias is new to Star Trek Online, a Deca effects artist. Started a few months ago and really hit the ground running with this stuff, and has really been excited about learning the game and making effects for the game and everything. It's been great working with him and seeing him kind of get into it. So,
And when are you
and
gonna tell him that he has to change his name because we can't have two Tobiases?
I think he might go by Toby, so maybe we're
Oh,
safe
okay,
there.
we're great. Then.
yeah.
Okay, so just to show off the visuals for this, again, the tooltip, just so people can see it, while under the effects of beam fire at will beam overload or cannon rapid fire, you get this extra debuff that can be applied to your primary target. And then anybody that attacks that will drain additional shields from that debuff while it's active. And if the target shields drop, it does an additional explosion, damaging that target and a bunch of other things nearby. I was just told in the chat that this is currently performing at S+ tier, so it might be subject to tuning. So enjoy it while you can. So we'll be taking
If you buy the bundle, don't buy it just for that trait, please.
No,
but do buy the bundle, even if it's just for that trait, because then you get the opportunity of being one of the people who gets to go on the Discord and say, "What a bait and switch! What a slap in the face!"
Remember also, like, if we tune it, we're not going to try to nerf it into the ground. We want it to perform well, but if it's too good, we might have to take a pass. Anyway, here's how it looks when it's firing.
This is the eternal curse Cthulhu finds himself under. He tells people when things are really good, and then the really good things disappear because they're too good. Whoa,
Monkey's
that's
paw
cool.
curls.
So we have multiple things going on here. Let me refresh my. You guys get all the cheats. You can't use these obviously, but let me fire that again because we have. So there's a projectile that fires out.
Oh yeah.
And then it does this cool like wraparound thing.
Oh, that's dope.
And then the explosion. These enemies don't have any shields, so the trigger is happening immediately with the explosion. But normal enemies that have shields, obviously you have to knock down their shields first.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Hellbore.
That's neat. So this ship sort of seems like, if I can use my terrible Stowe theory crafting senses, like it's really focused around getting into a big fight and doing a lot of damage to a lot of things at once. While
it is kind of focused
on one target.
Yeah, area between this and the expanding sphere. It definitely focuses on doing a lot of damage to many close by enemies. Yeah.
Nice. Well, so while you can never predict what players are going to do with a ship, what would you think would be a great sort of role or position for this to be in?
Well, okay, so I have a predilection for science powers. This does have a lieutenant commander science seat, so I would say put a gravity well in there. That's going to help you do all the things.
Do a gravity well.
The rest of your build doesn't matter. Just do a gravity well and do the AoE stuff and just enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds excellent.
All right, so I need to shut off my camera so I can switch and not spoil everything.
I am switching cameras now. All right, you're clear. So anybody in chat, we will be taking questions at the end of seeing all the ships. How long do you guys have to be here? Do you have to bug out at noon your time, or?
I can be here all day.
I hope not.
It's like 2 in the morning.
Because I was like, it's 5 minutes till. Maybe we should do one of
Let's do the Proxima next.
So
yeah,
we can
let's do the Proxima next.
Some sleep.
Nah, I can be here all day.
He doesn't need
night.
sleep. He's a panda.
Yeah.
Okay, switching to the Proxima
pandas only
and
sleep.
starting my camera up again.
All right.
Here we go.
I see it, and we're going back. Oh, thank you very much for the follow, Katrina. Also, Katrina, you weren't following yet?
Oh no!
Oh, and thank you for the follow, KitKat42 as well. Folks, as stated before many times, if you're enjoying this stream and this kind of content and you want to see more of it, please give me a follow. And if you have the means, throwing a subscription my way means I can continue to do this, hopefully as a job eventually. Would love to be able to do that. So if you've got the means and you want to throw a sub my way, I would appreciate it. If you have Amazon Prime, you can throw a free sub my way as well. And several people have done that. All right, Proxima.
All right,
into
Keen,
it.
take it away.
Oh, all right. So, like Thomas said earlier in the stream, when we were doing the anniversary bundle, it was TMP themed, well, motion picture era themed, and I grew up playing Star Trek Legacy. Like when I was, like, I think 8 or 9, my dad bought it for me. I used to watch TNG reruns after school, and Star Trek Legacy was at the time about the only PC game I played, and it part of my Star Trek childhood, and some of my fondest memories of it were doing local LAN PvP with my dad and him teaching me how to mod the ships in the game because all the ships had human readable text files, so I could give myself 500 torpedoes if I wanted to. And
That's dope.
so it's a big part of my childhood, this game in particular, and so I had wanted it in the game. So, I pitched it to Thomas for the anniversary bundle, but at the time, the Shangri-La, of course, won over. So since we were having this summer bundle, it came up again, and Thomas okayed it, and I am very happy to have worked on it.
It's beautiful, man.
It's such a goofy looking ship, and I love my goofy ships, like the Oberth, the Steamrunner, all the ships with weird proportions. I love them, and this guy, Two Deflectors. How could I not love such a weird ship?
Oh, I love it.
So, yeah, this ship, the TOS Proxima, which is the default costume for it, was designed by Jamie Armstrong Hughes, and they were really helpful because when concepting it, they did a kit bash model, and because I worked on this, I think right after I worked on the Proxima 2, which also had a bit of cleanup help from them. I worked on this right after that, and for that, I did most of the work myself. So for this one, I relied heavily on their work. So it's a lot of their work based on kit bash parts from other ships already in the game, just cleaned up and made game ready for STO. And the other variant, the Pollux, was also designed by them and built by Tobias Richter, with me putting it in the game.
Very cool.
And this
Go
ship
ahead and
has
get into the ship
this
tailor
ship
here.
has very interesting tailor options.
Oh, I can't wait. Scorpion, shut up. You're always helpful. I respond. And also, he said there was a neat trivia about this, which is that you guys couldn't use the original model from the game, so you had to rebuild everything from scratch.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We Paramount is cool with us making these, bringing these ships from these old games into Star Trek Online, but the condition they have is that the assets are completely new and brand new, so there's no confusion about who owns, the actual asset. Was it the original studio or whatever? So
Got it.
yeah, so we have to make sure that nothing from Legacy, even though you can go and rip the files and stuff from the game, we didn't do that. Everything is from scratch here.
You said this has 2 deflectors, but I see 2 more on the back. What a weird ship.
Wow.
It uses the
Well,
deflectors
that's what I think.
it uses the deflectors to move as well. It's actually more efficient than impulse engines.
It's just deflecting space around itself.
So
Okay, so
Duncan,
you
Duncan,
want-
who is referring to themselves in the third person for some reason, Duncan apparently made a motion picture era crossfield with the Proxima kit bashing, which I am excited to see. Please post that in the Discord, Duncan. Anyway, continue on with the options.
Speaking of kit bashing, this ship has options.
Whoa.
So this is the
one
Proxima
yeah.
2. This is TMP era, right?
Yeah. So this is the one that I personally worked most on. So the saucer is really, really heavily modified saucer from the Ark Royal. The secondary hulls are from Thomas, I believe's TMP Constitution, the Constitution 2. And I think the part of the robot and stuff was from the Miranda, and I think the torpedo port might have been from Thomas's Jojo as well. But but it was a lot of work to get it to look like the Proxima.
So this entire ship is just kit bashed?
Mostly.
That's amazing.
I mean, at some point you cross a line where it's not really kit bashing anymore.
But I mean, that's still pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
The main hull, like the 2 necks and the thick middle section, that was me, but the rest of it was heavily modified bits from existing STO ships.
I love that. I
like all the windows here.
I love continuing
Yeah.
the Star Trek tradition of gluing ships to other ships to make new ships.
Exactly.
I mean, I did
Um,
say
And
just
then-
kit bash. That secondary house really different from the Connie
I mean, the
tools.
whole term kit bash comes from literally taking different model kits
Yeah.
and bashing them together. So,
Right.
yeah.
Which is
And
very fun.
cutting them up and gluing them, and
Mm.
If
yeah,
you can afford to go buy model kits because they're super expensive now, I heavily recommend making your own starships in your house. It's really great. It's a good feeling.
Or even just take like a jet fighter and a hot rod
Yeah,
racer car and smash them together and see what you get.
I grabbed a
Yeah.
bunch of ships from Yamato and a bunch of fighter ships, and I'm planning on smashing them together. In a
oh
fight.
nice.
Combined with a
There's
Gundam jet
a
or something that
Yeah,
yeah. There's a convention that happens every year in Louisville, Kentucky called Wonderfest, and it's a scale modeling convention.
oh, that's
And
dope.
the Adam Savage's YouTube channel Tested goes every year, and they have a lot of videos about all the cool models there. This year there was a group of modelers who did a bunch of different kit bashes based on the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Wow.
And so
Ooh.
one of them, they took like the snow speeder from Empire Strikes Back and like put the DeLorean in the middle of
Oh, nice.
the wings of that, and it like works really well. And there's like another one where it's like a Blade Runner car, but the DeLorean with the DeLorean cab and stuff. Anyway, I've always wanted to go to Wonderfest. I think it'd be really fun because I grew up building scale models with Dad, and I don't really have room to do it in my current apartment. I'd love to do more of it in the future, but yeah, Wonderfest seems like a cool place, and you can see all the stuff that people build. They get really creative.
It does. We're stuck in an ad, so before doing any more useful information, Thomas, did you wait in that incredibly long line to get a picture in the DeLorean at FanFest nights?
No, I don't think I did.
I didn't either, but I was sure you would.
Yeah, there was that I think I felt sorry for the dog.
We watched the dog do a switchover while we were there. They had
Oh, okay,
they
that's
had a
good.
dog to represent. I'm a bad Back to the Future fan, and I forgot both dogs' names. But they had a dog to
Penny.
represent past dog and modern.
Oh
dog.
yeah, Copernicus and Einstein are
Yeah.
the two dogs.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, they must right? Because that
Yeah.
poor dog just sitting there for an hour, just like sitting still. It
Sitting
was
completely
very
still
well
to take
behaved.
pictures. Yeah.
All right. To the point where they really could have had a stuffed dog and nobody would have.
Dexter says buy the bundle to get Thomas a better apartment. I've been to Thomas's apartment.
Yeah,
It's
there you go.
nice.
I mean, I wish it worked that way, but
Yeah. Thank you for the
All
bunch
right, I
of
think
folks
we
who just
can-
subscribed to avoid the ad. Okay, now it's telling me there's an ad break in progress. Chat, let me know if that's actually true. I hope it didn't just do a 3-minute ad on top of whatever ad it was just doing. All right, so what are we looking at right now, Pundus?
That's the Pollux, designed by Jamie Armstrong Hughes, Scorpion Design. This is the STO era version of the Proxima class. This was modeled by Tobias Richter, and I put it in the game and worked quite hard on it to get it to customize well with the other two ship variants.
Yeah, this has quite a bit difference here in the
Yeah.
midsection of it. Yeah.
One of the cooler things about the Pollux in particular is that if you go into the Advanced tab, it has a set of beta nacelles.
Ooh.
When Jamie originally designed this, it was designed with only the 2 nacelles. So this was how it originally looked. But after discussions with Thomas, it was decided that having the 4 nacelles was much more in line with expectations and the legacy of the Proxima class. So we did a little extra modeling and got the variant in, but I kept the 2 nacelle variant in as an option for players.
Nice. I will
Cool.
say it looks, now that I've been looking at it with 4 nacelles for so long, putting 2 nacelles on, I'm like, that's not enough nacelles to propel this ship.
Feels like there's something missing.
Yeah.
Jeremy, can you show off the mismatched hulls?
Yeah.
The what?
I told Thomas I don't love this, but I understand that we want to let players like be able to mix and match stuff.
That looks like somebody cobbled it together out of a couple
A
wrecks.
true kit bash.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think why I like it is that it is something where you can sort of role play that okay, it actually makes more sense as to why you'd have two hulls if they
Yeah.
do look different, right? Because like this hull is for this thing and this hull is for this other thing.
Or this our
So
left hull was destroyed, so we replaced it with a more modern one, but our right hull is still
right,
going strong.
yeah.
Nice.
All right, I'm
So
just
there's a
gonna
lot of
hit,
fun Kibesh stuff.
Many questions in chat about whether these ships can land on water, since they've got the pontoons.
Probably too heavy for that, I'd imagine.
No.
This thing is like
I saw the Kelvin movie. You can build an Enterprise on the surface of the planet.
Jesus. I mean, it
Yeah,
went
and
under the
in
water.
it was under the water.
True, yeah, it did.
I'm going to take the risk and hit random a bunch of times and
Do
see
it.
if the kit bashing works out for us.
I like how you're hiding the hulls before you do that. Whoa, that's cool.
There's just a lot going on, and I have a feeling
Yeah.
we're going to run at least one section where something's floating.
I tried my best. I don't think there's any.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Right.
Keen spent a lot of time on this, and I got a lot of feedback
Whoa.
from me about that.
That's
Pretty
pretty cool.
That's a really different form factor with them
Yeah.
up, raised like that.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
thinking
I'm
when
into
you
it.
showed me the first one that it would look really cool with the nacelles raised up. That's neat. Ooh, sleek. Sleek, baby.
There's so much you can do with these ships. Like I said, this is essentially a 9-ship bundle if you're into the artwork of it.
Ice
Yeah.
Queen
Not
one-
quite floating, just awkward.
Just awkward.
It's touching, but
Yeah.
we're about a step and a half from Oberth territory here. We got 2 canoes, but they're not, jutting underneath. So we're okay. We're okay for now. Nobody panic. Ice Queen 142 called the JJ verse big budget fan films, which I think is hilarious because, guys, every IP film that's made now is a fan film. Every single
Yeah.
one. People grew up on these IP and then they get to make the films they wanted to see when they were kids. It's all fan films, all the way down.
This is a really customizable ship.
Yeah.
yep.
There's some really cool stuff you can do on this.
Yeah.
Obese Hard Drive says make it uglier. Oh, I think you did.
Well, sure, uglier, but not ugly. This ship,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think
I don't
it
think
can
you
be
can.
completely ugly. I love it. All right,
Yeah, that's
cool.
very
And
pretty.
it's Science Dreadnought, which is right up my alley. Maybe I'll start flying this ship.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's get
So
into the mechanics
gonna
for
see.
it.
Let's see what it can do. Show me a
All right.
console worthy of Starfleet.
Okay. So the console on this is the side pulse phasers, which is another enables more broadside tactics here. As this is active, it periodically deals a bunch of phaser damage to people in your left and right 90-degree arcs. Pretty straightforward. Now, one thing to call out here is that this console has a much lower cooldown than our usual 2 minutes, and it can still be further reduced by the standard console reduction stuff. So this is something you can activate more frequently. Not quite in the realm of like an experimental weapon in terms of frequency, but more than a standard universal console. So let me move over here and go ahead and shoot these guys with it, just to show its visuals.
Okay. I'm being told these phasers
gonna
need
actually-
a bit of a buff, which, the ship's been out for like 3 hours. So take that with whatever grains of salt you need.
I'm going to slow this down to 1/5 speed just so you can see the lasers because they're really cool looking. And I want to show them off.
Ooh. I do.
These
like
are also
those.
pretty faithful to the game where these appeared in.
Yeah,
I think on the Proxima, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
these were. I mean, we did this because they appeared on the Proxima. Even though, I mean, I guess broadsiders are eating good, right? Because we just did the Kerala
Mhm,
console as well. How would you say this differentiates from that?
This has an additional effect. I can't remember what it is offhand.
It's
No,
different
it's just the
because it's
cooldown.
different.
It's able to fire more frequently. Is the main change.
Mhm. I'd also say, I mean, it themes better with TOS stuff, right? Like this
Yeah.
is the
Mhm.
blue TOS style, whereas the Kerala is baked into the TMP pulse phaser language.
Yeah.
hmm And you can just use both. I don't think that this was ever meant to be a replacement for the
Mhm.
broadsider that we released before. I actually think I'm trying to remember. One of these had a scaling. I think this might scale with auxiliary. Maybe that's the trait. It is the trait. Okay. To give it a separate identity. But
So
no, this
what
is
does the trait do?
the trait. Whenever you trigger a science or miracle work or bridge officer ability, you get a bunch of skill bonuses. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the amount of skill bonus that you receive is based on your max auxiliary power, not your
Okay.
current. So it's whatever you've itemized. This is a 130 because our current, basic max for any subsystem power on a ship is 125. This console actually has a synergizing bonus of +5 max aux power. So
Okay.
anything that you can do to maximize your maximum aux power, not necessarily your current, can allow you to buff these skills even more. And the skills that this improves will improve your shield penetration, your crit chance, and your crit severity.
Very cool.
And this has a bit of a cooldown, but it also has a long duration. So 20 seconds when it goes off is a pretty decent chunk of combat. But then it has a total of 60-second downtime between triggers. There's no
Nice.
visuals attached to this, so I'm not going to bother unlocking it and showing it off.
Chad is very
Until it's
excited
not.
about doing a big broadside build, including people who want to put both broadside consoles on the same ship, which sounds like wonderful chaos.
There's a little bit of an internal on the systems team. Like sometimes we latch onto a theme and we like to release multiple things along that same theme. It wasn't really purposeful that we were going to design a broadside console for this bundle. It just happened that there was these side pulse phasers from the Proxima's appearance in Legacy that we could use, and it happened to coincide with that plan. We've released at least 2 other things that are broadside focused in the last year or so. So, and we like to do that on the systems team. We like to try and theme stuff so you can start putting together kind of a synergistic build over time.
That's cool. I might try to slap all 3 on my Vengeance and see how that works.
Yeah, the Vengeance also has a broadside console. So,
Oh yeah, there we go.
yeah, it goes right in line with it.
Slap it on. There.
So that's it for the ship mechanically. Just to call out, we didn't make any new hangar pets, but we did. I think one of the hangar pets might have received a review just to make sure it was performing okay. But we didn't make any new ones for the bundle. There's no new hangar pets. You'll find a TOS pet on this, and the Warden we just showed since it's a multi-mission cruiser with 1 hangar bay, it's got a era appropriate hangar pet that it comes with.
I think that's the Valkyrie, right? Valkyrie fighters.
Probably. But we did also make an effort to make sure that these new ships unlock those pets if they're locked. So if you buy this bundle, you can buy those pets in the usual places.
Very cool.
Show off the stations real quick
Yep.
in case people want to get the skill screenshot of that. Yep. Okay.
All right. Well, let's go to ship number 3 then. Is there anything else to say about this beautiful, beautiful ship?
Buy it. No.
Turn
off.
True.
Yep, turning you off. Hold on. Switching away. So yeah, folks, this bundle is out already. How much Zen is it going for right now? Does anybody know in the chat, in the stream?
It's 9,000 something.
Okay.
On sale.
Yeah, it's on sale right now because it just launched. It seems like a really cool bundle. Like we said before, 9 ships for the price of 3. So that's dope. Yeah, support the game. And while you're at it, you could also throw a follow or a subscription to my channel so that you can see more cool Star Trek Online content, along with a bunch of other games like Yakuza 0, Mass Effect Andromeda, and Warframe. All right, we're back.
How are you liking the Mass Effect? Real quick.
I'm liking it so far. We've only played through the introductory mission because we've only had 1 session.
Oh,
with it,
okay.
but I'm enjoying it. It feels like Mass Effect.
Man, when it came out, I remember that was I started playing it and it bounced off. I bounced off it and I was like, I'd rather be working. And then I remastered. That's when I remastered the TMP Connie. Because I was just like, I was just kind of disappointed, and I was like, I'd rather be spending my time doing this other thing.
That's the curse of a big successful IP, though,
Yep.
right? Like
Right,
everybody
right.
had really high expectations for a new
Yep.
Mass
Yep.
Effect game, and it's a fine game. I played it for hundreds of hours, but it was not Mass Effect 4. That's what everybody wanted.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was interesting. I really like going back and playing games that were massively shat upon, years after they come out to see divorced from all of that, and with any fixes
Right.
the developers got in, is it actually that bad? And the answer is almost always no. But I'm also
Yeah.
the guy who likes bad things. Mortal Kombat
What
is the
night
greatest movie
are
of
you
all
playing
time. Fight
Andromeda?
me.
What nights are you playing Andromeda? Is that on Thursdays?
Thursdays, yeah.
Cool.
You're also playing
Oh.
it post all the patches and stuff.
Oh,
Like
yeah, yeah.
I thought about
For sure.
giving it another shot because I played it like launch day,
Yeah.
and like it was rough,
Mm.
man. It was rough. It was really bad. Like the all the animations and stuff were very
Yeah.
distracting.
I mean, it was just one of those things. I
like-
think what I remember hearing at the time was that, they'd all had to move to a different engine and it wasn't designed for any of this.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of tech debt associated.
So,
Anyway, let's get back to our video game.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Our video game, which has no tech debt.
Right.
Oh no.
All right, Thomas, tell us about the Okinawa.
Yeah.
Oh man, the Okinawa, my darling, my precious, my beautiful starship. I've loved this ship. Also, I want to say that my real darling is my partner, Katrina, who's sitting next to me.
Aw.
Feel like I need to put that on the record. But
Thomas, Katrina knows that you would leave her for a starship in a hot minute, and I'm sure she understands.
No.
If Obi-Wan Kenobi walked in the room right now, you know you'd be done for. And same if an Okinawa flew in.
I mean, at least he's a real person. But yeah, this is the Okinawa class starship. This is from Starfleet Command, the first one, released in 1999. I just think it's such a cool, sleek take on the motion picture era, and I've wanted it in STO. Basically since I started working on Star Trek Online back in 2010. But it's funny because like it was always sort of like a battle to justify, like if you like something but nobody else knows what you're talking about, it's really hard
Yeah.
to get people behind it, right?
Some people,
but now
some people climb the ranks of their jobs in order to, get more money or a better schedule. Thomas, people like Thomas and Jeremy climb it so that they can make the game make the things they want.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Now Jeremy is the only person who can tell me no.
I daren't.
But I'm excited to finally have this ship in Star Trek Online. I do want to give a shout out to a game artist named Howie Day, who did a really awesome interpretation of this. Just a kind of high poly interpretation of the ship, just for fun. Howie's an incredible modeler. He's a technical artist in the games industry, but just models a lot of spaceships for fun,
Nice.
including the Okinawa. And his interpretation of it was so cool and really faithful, but also filled in a lot of details. And so I asked Howie if he'd be okay with us basing our version of the Okinawa on the work that he did, and he was. And so we got his permission to do that, and then sent that over to Tobias Richter, who modeled the final in-game version of the ship, which I'm really, really happy with. It fleshed everything out in just the right way. It looks great. It's a great addition to the motion picture era, and I can't wait to fly it around in STO and do all
It's-
sorts of fun
it's
pilot maneuvers.
Very, very pretty. Chad is all fanboying over the mention of Howie Day. So now I think I need to go and look. You all got to remember, when there's somebody making cool starships on the internet, it is your moral duty to tell me about it so I can go look at the cool starships.
Howie also does a lot of cool Star Wars.
Oh, nice.
He's done some cool Star Wars stuff too. So, yeah.
Yeah, since I started streaming full time, I've been repeatedly accused of being a bigger Star Wars fan than a Star Trek fan. I don't know what they're talking about. That can't possibly be true.
We played through Jedi Academy, right?
I did, but I
part of
haven't
it.
played through Legacy yet. So let's see.
All right, so we have the Okinawa. The Ventura is the TOS variant.
Sorry, quick question from
Right.
chat before we move on. Twitty Blathon, who's a first-time chatter, welcome, is pointing out that the sound for the pulse phasers is different than. It doesn't sound like the pulse phasers, it apparently sounds like a high pitched, scratchy sound. If that's true for everybody else, please post in chat because then Suna can pass
It
it
is
on to the audio team.
so it's not supposed to sound exactly like pulse phasers. It is meant to sound different and unique. Scratchy, probably not. If it's distorted, then that might be something we have to work into. But like the visuals aren't exactly TOS pulse phasers or TMP pulse phasers, so
Yeah.
it is a different original effect, but it should hopefully sound good.
Disco says, is it even possible to buy Star Trek Legacy anymore? Anything's possible. Anyway, so tell us more about these different variants of the ship.
Yeah. So the Ventura variant, I think I mentioned at the top, this is based on a version of the Okinawa scene in a comic called Star Trek Crew by John Byrne. I believe that's the name of the author. And we took that design and iterated on it. Jamie Armstrong Hughes did a great job kind of polishing that up and getting it to kind of a detail level that that fit what we were doing in Stowe. There's a lot of, we borrowed a lot from Bill Krause too, with the kind of the airplane inspired nacelles, kind of the
Nice.
and the just the really leaned in the mid-century modern look of it. I'm really pleased with how this came out. I yeah, the Ventura is the name of the ship seen in the IDW comics, so we decided to give that name to this design. And yeah, this was modeled by Tobias Richter, along with the Okinawa and Alameda, which we can get to next.
Where's the name Alameda come from?
It's where the nuclear vessels are.
Hey, we got
It's
some
funny
nuclear
because like
vessels.
I was thinking about like what do we name this ship, and I wanted it to be usually when we name ships we name new classes of ships, we'll name it after an example of the kind of inspiration class, right? Like the T6 Nebula is called the Sutherland class because there was a Nebula class ship called the USS Sutherland. But for the Okinawa, there was no, I mean, there was the Okinawa as seen in Starfleet Command, but there wasn't an example of it with a distinct name that everybody would remember. So we kind of had to come up with something. And when we do that, we like to think about things in kind of a theme. And so thinking about like, okay, what's a name? The Okinawa is an island, right? An island in Japan. You could say it's named after battles, or you could say it's named after geographical regions. For this ship, I went with a geographical region just because ships named after battles tend to be bigger ships like carriers and battleships, and landing ships. So I wanted to go steer in that direction. So and then I remembered, thinking about islands, what can we, Okinawa is an island, what islands island name could I pick? And then I was thinking about that Alameda and its connection to Star Trek 4, and that just seemed like a really good fit. Which, if people don't know, if they're not familiar with Bay Area geography, Alameda is actually an island where an old naval base used to be, and they filmed on that naval base in Star Trek 4. Naval base is closed. It's been closed for decades now, I think, but there's still a lot of people. Yeah, it's actually a really nice place, Alameda. A lot of people still live
It's
there.
cool. I used to LARP there a little bit.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It's very funny. You drive across the bridge from Oakland to Alameda, and the vibe definitely changes
Immediately.
But it's a nice place, and I felt like it was a great Star Trek name.
Yeah.
For a ship.
But
So
now
that's
that
how we landed there.
Now that we've got three, counties on this, I guess, or California counties on this, or at least two, I guess that makes us the sister ship to a California class.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Ventura is a county in California, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's interesting. So yeah, so you can obviously mix and match all the different parts here from the different variants. I think I mentioned it before, but the Alameda was designed by Hector Ortiz, modeled by Tobias Richter. It's I mean, I'll just go ahead and say it that there's a bit of a Y-wing influence there, which I think is a lot of fun. So we were looking at the different ways to do with the saucer. When we offer these variants, one of the important things is to give people with each variant, you want there to be something distinct about it compared to the other variants, right? So giving a unique saucer shape that just wasn't another circle, that was important. And doing something with the pylons, having them go forward instead of backwards, that was important because we wanted people to feel like that, that switching variants actually does change the shape of the ship a little bit.
Yeah.
The shape of saucer I used on the oh god, one of the no, it was the Hydra, I think, on the Terran bundle, the Terran Prometheus. So my headcanon is kind of related to that ship a little bit. The Hydra, it was inspired by like the Y-wing and Battlestar Galactica a little bit. So it's just kind of a cool, different saucer shape than
That's
what you
neat.
might normally see. But I think it works well.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a nice one. That one's cool too. We had a question come in that I wanted to. Poorly lit bald person. Why did you name yourself after me? There's I wanted to know if we could get the official lengths of each of these ships so that he can update his scale chart. I'm assuming you don't know them off the top of your head, but if somebody could throw them in the Discord at some point, that would be dope.
Yeah, Pundus can probably help you out there.
This is a smaller ship, in
think
case
I
it
have
wasn't
all of them.
already obvious. This
Nice.
is a pilot
Ooh,
pilot raider.
Ooh, pilot
Yep.
raider.
Yep.
Mike
Mhm.
interest intensifies. Please show me how the best type of ship works, Jeremy.
It's got pilot maneuvers.
Power maneuvers.
People like that kind of stuff.
Roll.
I have to wait for the cooldown, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
You know it. You love it.
Yep. I mean, you know why that was the voice I was trying to imitate earlier when I said do a gravity well. So all right.
So this has
yeah.
So this has three things going on with it. It's got a console trait and an experimental weapon. So we'll start
Ooh.
with the console,
Yep.
which is the dual plasma charge launcher. This is, I believe, also from Legacy. But correct me if I'm wrong. there.
So both of those things are from Starfleet Command. So
Okay.
the dual plasma charge launcher is inspired by the fact that there are some variants of the Okinawa that actually have dual plasma torpedoes. So we thought it'd be kind of cool to make that the console for this ship.
So this dual plasma launcher has two different firing modes, but it's a little dumb fire. You don't get to choose which goes off. So you launch two plasma charges. They will chase down nearby randomized targets. If they reach them, then they do just a whole buttload of damage to that individual target. But if they run out of their fuse timer, which is 3 seconds of flight time, then instead they'll do a big AoE, hitting multiple targets for less damage.
Oh, so you
in
want to
like
shoot
a
it when
MIRV
things are further
multi-target.
away. Like you want to kind of set it up so like you're firing through a crowd of ships at a target that's too far for it to reach.
It depends on what you want. Like if you just have a single target, then get up close and personal to guarantee that you get the big punch. Whereas if you have many targets, a target-rich environment, then fire it from further away. Yeah, then you'll be able to have a chance to hit multiples. I'll just show you
Nice.
how that might work here. They'll choose a random target from your forward arc, so they always fly forward. So those were able to travel to their target and hit them. Now, let me get a little further away and see if we can get the fuse timer to run out, so you can see the AoE version.
Big explosion.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
not if
it
it
picked a
flies to
nearby
those
target.
ships.
Yeah. All right, try one more time.
All right.
I will call out that I think there might be a bug with the fuse timer. It might not actually be ticking down to 3 seconds. There it is. That's the MIRV.
Oh,
It splits up
it
into a bunch
becomes
of warheads.
missiles. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Anyway, we're going to be looking into the fuse timer to see if it's working according to our intentions here.
Nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think that it should be going off more reliably with AoE. So we'll look into that. But for now, it's two big giant plasma hits with this thing pretty reliably.
So today is a day of betrayals because Disco Lando just posted in chat and it says first time chat, which means he's never watched my stream before. How dare you, sir? But he also said he's here to say he saw the trailer and it is the most Thomas trailer ever.
Particularly the poem that was
Yeah.
chosen, I think.
I need to go
Very
listen to it
Thomas.
because I couldn't hear it on the stream. Yeah, so tell us about
Oh,
the
yeah.
experimental weapon.
Well, since we're on the subject of the trailer, actually,
yeah.
just let me mention that the voice that you hear there is Jason Charles, who we've loved working with in the past. He did the music for our Klingon rock music video several years back.
Yeah. Your mic cut out as you said Miller, so it looked like you thought his name was just Jason Charles. But yes, it's Jason Charles Miller, creator of the theme for Critical Role and Steel and Flame, our awesome Klingon metal song, the singer of many songs in Final Fantasy XIV, and the singer of Kenny Omega's new theme in AEW, which was composed...
He also just did a voice for us in the All That Matter mini episode, the Zinkethys Varan.
Yep, and he's go ahead.
Chewing up the scenery in that episode. I love his work in it
so much. He's our Q too, I think. He at least was for the winter trailer we made.
Oh, cool.
Great.
Thank you
I
for the
didn't know
follow,
that.
Disco Lando.
All right, so the experimental weapon here is the modular fusion beam. This has multiple different firing modes based on your distance from your target. So the closer you get, the more damage it does.
Ooh.
So you want to get as close as possible.
So you're playing for my
and it has
playstyle of
additional
dive into the group and die immediately.
So the furthest distance is a standard firing mode, and these visuals are taken directly from the game. Like they're so faithful, honestly, to how it appears in the.
That's cool.
And then we started to get a little bit inventive with the visuals because we wanted you to be able to see, if you're paying attention anyway, that if you're closer, you actually have a different firing mode. We can actually see the tooltip change here as we get closer.
Oh, nice.
There. So as you get closer, it also inflicts additional shield drain, penetrates more shields, and deals more damage. So this is the middle distance firing mode.
Oh,
the less
I like the
controlled, a little
lightning.
more wild. Yeah. And then if we get even closer, within 3K, I think it is. This is the suicidal overload. Just suicidal because you have to get so close to the action.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
That's even wilder.
I'm gonna need to get me this bundle just for some of this stuff.
And that is the experimental weapon, the console. Let me show the tooltip for the console because it's the passive. So this +5 most tactical skills. If you do more details, you can see exactly which skills. You get many different bonuses, but it's not a very large amount. So it's another thing we're kind of experimenting with here.
Cool.
And then the trait. So this is Weapons of War. This is a trait that is pretty straightforward. Essentially, for any weapon that you use, you get a bonus to that weapon. So you can stack up to 4 different buffs of 25% all damage with that weapon type. So if you're firing a beam, you essentially, after the first shot, well, I don't have it unlocked, but after the first shot, all your subsequent shots will then benefit from that plus 25% damage bonus. Not bonus. Strength factor positive, category 1, however we're calling that for the players these days. And that is refreshed with each shot. So, and you can get a buff for your beams, for your cannons, for your torpedoes. And it's pretty straightforward, practically always on because it refreshes with your outgoing fire. So you can kind of think of this as just an extra console slot. It gives you a bunch of passive damage bonus for whatever weapon type you're using.
Very cool. And then, oh, you just told us about the trait. Yes. I was going to ask about the trait, but you already said it. Very
And then
cool.
just to show a shot of the seating, mostly universal, like most raiders, with a commander tactical pilot.
Hey, Jason Charles Miller is in chat. Thank you for the subscription, buddy. Or the follow, buddy. Good to see you.
Dude's got his own emotes.
We were just talking about how great you are.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for your work on this, man.
And thanks for the awesome League of Swords theme, which we're going to be hearing in a minute. Spoilers. So yeah. Cool. So that is all 3 ships. Is there anything else cool about the bundle we should go over? I'm going to open the floor to questions, but I'm going to take a quick break first so I can use the restroom. I know, how dare I? Since you guys said you could hang around. So, are you? Is there anything else that you folks wanted to cover?
I
It's
mean,
on
I'll talk
sale
a
right
little bit
now,
about
so
that.
act now.
Yeah. I can talk a little bit about the trailer, the production of the trailer.
Yeah.
If
Let's do
people
that.
wanna do that. Okay, cool. Do you wanna
Yeah,
me
I'll
to
do the
vamp
break.
while you're?
I'll do the break first, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about
Okay.
the trailer. We'll do some questions. If you have questions, get them ready. I'll let you know when it's time. While
Awesome.
we do our break, folks, we're gonna watch an episode of my show, The League of Swords. I'm gonna put this this thing in here. Flo wants to play the trailer again. We can do that before we go to break. So, but right after that, we're gonna switch to League of Swords, which is my professional wrestling with sword fights show that Jason Charles Miller did the theme song for. So we'll watch the trailer, and then we'll watch an episode of League of Swords, and then I will be back, and we will cover the production of the trailer and answer your questions. So we'll be right back, folks.
For I dipped into the future, far as human eye could see. Saw the vision of the world and all the wonder that would be. Saw the heaven fill with commerce, argosies of magic sails, pilots of the purple twilight, dropping down with costly bales. Heard the heavens fill with shouting. And the rain a ghastly dew. From the nation's airy navies, grappling in the central blue. Far along the worldwide whisper of the south wind rushing warm. With the standards of the people plunging through the thunderstorm. Till the war drum throbbed no longer, and the battle flags were furled. Parliament of Men, the Federation of the World. There the common sense of most shall hold a fretful realm in awe, and the kindly earth shall slumber, lapped in universal law.
Millions of years ago, the monks of the Way saved the universe. They did it by creating the greatest tournament of strength and steel the world has ever known. Welcome to the League of Swords.
Gotta dig deep, gotta feel the desire. Take a look inside and find what fuels the fire. To a front to live or do I live to fight? I wrestle with the beast inside me every night.
Hello and welcome to the League of Swords! Yes, my name is Nunguaya and I'm here with...
Ron, the real deal Steel.
That is correct. And tonight we are being hosted by Imagine Pro Wrestling. Thank you very much.
Man, I miss body slamming people.
What is Icepick Johnny Lamar doing out here?
I don't know, but his sword's kind of like really small. I hope he's out here to like needle his opponent or something.
I know, small knife, big Lamar.
The highest score right now. Everybody likes an underdog story, and there's nothing more of an underdog story than a kid from Jersey taking on the big guy. That's right, I deserve a chance. As the only new male member of the group, I think I deserve some male privilege as well. So tonight, I'm gonna challenge Sad Jack McButthole over there to a final match to see that I really am one of the major contenders of the League of Swords! Woo! What you guys say, Jackie boy? Alright, that's enough of that. Nobody came here to hear you gabbing on and on. People came here to see a fight, am I right? Yeah. Thank you! Now, first and foremost, thank you, I appreciate that. The name is Mad Jack McCaslin, that's the name. I know that memory's not your strong point, or public speaking, or fighting. I don't know what your strong point is, but listen. Listen, I'm at the very top of the train here. I'm at the very top of you. You're way at the very bottom. And I'm a noble man, an honorable man, sort of. And I know it's not a good thing to punch down. But you've got sort of a lost puppy with mange sort of thing going on. So I'm gonna throw you a bone. You'll have that fight tonight. So let me tell you, it ain't gonna last long. Now I'll tell you one thing, Jackie boy. It's gonna last as long as I want it to. But I'm gonna pick you to shreds and leave you for whatever Scottish haggis you'll be left over as. It's kind of interesting you're talking about length there. It seems a little bit deficient. You might as well just put that away and go on home right now. What I'm hearing is you're gonna give me a chance to show you what I got, Jackie boy? Just a second, because that's all you're gonna learn. I'll see you later. See you in the final match, Mad Jack! I'll see you in the funny papers itself. Well, looks like I get my chance to take on the champ in the final showdown. Bring it on, Jackie boy!
Valfreya, a cat lady. I'll have her purring in no time.
Lady Lark? What kind of name is Lady Lark? She's all flash and no substance. Barely know if she knows how to handle a sword.
Introducing first!
Alright, who are we introducing first?
Probably our new monk.
From the high seas of adventure, stealing from the rich and giving to herself, Lady Lark!
We have a new fighter, Lady Lark. Again, what a wonderful hat.
Yeah, nice hat, but like, stealing for yourself? That's boring. Everyone knows stealing for kittens or you know, like orphans is way cooler.
Stealing for kittens? I would steal for a chinchilla.
Good choice.
Feather in her hair, ready to fight.
And her opponent.
And he was correct. Valfreya.
From the power of the goddess Freya herself, the true protector of all cats, Valfreya!
Valfreya here to protect their cats.
See, stealing from everyone and giving to cats, that's way more cool.
You know, the crowd is on her side.
Well, I mean, who would you rather vote for? Viking or pirate?
I'm still on the ninja boat.
Oh, ninja boats? That's terrible. There's only one person on that boat. Or is there?
All right, our fighters are taking their place. And we've begun.
We've really stepped up our production value. That referee has an actual referee outfit.
Yes, yes. He's been gifted to us by Imagine Pro Wrestling. Thank you very much.
Wait, so did the head monk have to pay them too?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Ooh.
All right. Standoff. We got a standoff. Poking, prodding her into the corner. Lady Lark's in trouble. But a missed charge from Valfreya.
Everyone knows you can't put a pirate in a corner. But you can sucker punch him.
I wonder if Lady Lark has ever been stabbed before.
Oh, hard to say. You know what's weird is that shield kind of looks like a conquistador. You think she killed a conquistador and like just kept it with her?
That might be what this fight is for. Lady Lark wants to trade in their fancy hat for a conquistador hat.
Oh.
Oh, shield bash to the face.
Oh.
We might need an instant replay on that one.
Back it up. 1, 2, 3.
Now, I like that Valfreya's not just going out and killing her and just trying to let the time limit do it. Like,
Valfreya is like a cat that she loves. She likes to play with her prey.
ooh, the twirls.
Parry, block. Low block, high block. Shield
Again.
bash.
That must have like a 15-second cooldown.
I think so. Oh! We have a finish.
Winner.
And your winner, Valfreya!
Valfreya is our winner.
I think those cats have anything to do with it?
I think so. People may be allergic to her cats, but she's allergic to death.
My God!
I have a plan. I'm not gonna lose this time. Are you kidding me? Has he ever won? It's really embarrassing.
you guys don't have to hear my webcam audio either. So when does my audio equipment decide to finally give up the ghost? Of course it decides to do it when I'm doing, this huge stream for Star Trek Online. Thanks, microphone. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Also, what's great about running my own stream? Actually, no, I did this when I was working for Cryptic too. Somebody was a dick about the League of Swords in chat during the League of Swords, and I just banned him. It was so fun. I love that. All right, so we are back. I'm quiet? Okay. Let me turn myself up a little bit. Let me know if that's better. We are now here to talk about that awesome trailer we were just watching. Actually, let me... Thomas, why don't you get started chatting about it, and I'm going to switch us over to looking at it and talking about it at the same time.
Yeah, sounds great.
So how did it first come about? I mean, obviously you're looking for a trailer for bundles now because the one for the last bundle did such a good job. But what was the sort of initial thought process between what you were going to do this time?
Yeah, so the first time we did a ship bundle trailer was the for the Heritage bundle last year. And it kind of exceeded our wildest expectations in how popular it was. For that, we wanted to do it. I wanted to do it. We had some extra animation bandwidth, and I thought, hey, this would be really cool to show these ships doing what they did in their original games, but in the STO engine, right? And so that's what we did with that trailer. And it went over incredibly well, and it really helped promote the bundle in a way that we hadn't really seen before in a normal C-Store bundle. I think that the ships themselves were obviously very popular, but I think the trailer helped a lot. It helped bring a lot of attention to STO and the game and everything. And so after that success, I was determined that we keep doing them. And so we did another trailer for the TMP bundle, our anniversary bundle. Keen actually animated that one himself in Blender. The Heritage bundle trailer and this new Timeless Legacy trailer were both done in the Star Trek Online game engine, but the TMP trailer was done in Blender in, I think you used Eevee, right, Keen?
Yep, Eevee.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is a real-time rendering engine for Blender. I don't think we'll ever do that again, just because we had to come up with everything. In the game engine, you get the environments for free, you get some of the sounds for free, but for the TMP bundle trailer, we had to everything had to be created by us. So anyway, but for the Heritage bundle, we had obviously the original trailers for those old games that we could kind of piggyback on, riff on, and just sort of re-implement. When it came to the TMP bundle, that was fun because it was just sort of it was making a new little mini story of what are these ships doing, what kind of adventures would they get up to in this era of Star Trek, and how can we kind of tie all that together. And when it came time for this trailer, I wanted to do something that was a little different than what we had done with those two other trailers. And so I didn't want to just have, just a bunch of combat shots again. I thought it was cool, and obviously you need to have that to show off the abilities the ships have. But I wanted it to be something a little bit more unique. And so I racked my brain for quite a while trying to figure out what to do there. And I was thinking okay, well, I don't with the for the Heritage bundle, we had Sean reciting some original text that was written for that trailer. For the TMP bundle trailer, that was actually, I just went through all of the game's dialogue and found clips that fit the story and stitched it all together.
Dang.
And that was a project. And then for this one, I didn't, I was like, okay, well, what do we do here? I wanted some narration. You kind of have to for something that's like 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
You need some voiceover for it.
But then again,
and
the original motion picture. Do you
Right.
need voiceover?
Well, I think that's probably why a lot of people razz that sequence. But I thought about, okay, well, what about like a poem or something that's a little more literary? And then I remembered that there is a quote from a Tennyson poem on Voyager's dedication plaque, USS Voyager, and the quote is, "For I dipped into the future, as far as I could see, saw the vision of the world and all the wonder that would be," and I thought, and so I was like, oh, I wonder if this would be a good narration. And so I found the poem and I read it, and the poem is named Prophecy. And I read the whole poem, and I was like, this is perfect. This is perfect for
actually says Federation at the end of it.
Yeah, right. It says Federation. It talks about like airy navies in the Central Blue. Like kind of like it was so good. So I was like, okay, well, I have to use this now. And so once I had that poem, that kind of helped me string together all the different scenes we needed. Right, we needed the scenes of the ships using their abilities in combat, but we also wanted to show a lot of beauty shots. I wanted to transition between the different eras, and the poem really worked with that, because it's this idea of prophecy, of seeing the future, of surviving conflict and coming out at the end of it in a better world. And I thought that was just thematically, you couldn't be a better choice for this bundle, and showing the progress of these ships through time. So when we had that picked out, I went to Flo, our writer, and Rich, our creative director, and they handle all of the voice recording for Stowe. And we were recording season 35, season 33.5 soon. And I said, hey, can you just have all of our voice actors read this poem for me? Because I want to use it in the trailer. And so of course we had the legendary Jason Charles Miller, awesome musician and actor. He did some reading for us for one of the characters in 33.5, the Zenkethi commander, and looking at his reading, it really felt the tone that I wanted for this. It felt super appropriate, and so I was just really excited to get that in there, and I think it really ties the whole thing together.
Really ties them together.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the history of the trailer and the context of what we've done before, and it was important, since this is a kind of a 9-in-3 bundle. We wanted the trailer to communicate that it comes with all of these skins and stuff, but it's still just 3 ships, right? And that's why we have the kind of swapping between eras the way we do it, going through the temporal vortex and showing the ships kind of swap back and forth like that. So it was the whole Deca animation team worked on this. They all did a fantastic job.
That's awesome.
And I got a lot of support from Phil Dunn, Deca's STO art lead. He did a lot of directing with them, giving them a lot of feedback every day, getting these shots together. So, but I'm pleased with how it turned out. I hope people like it.
That's awesome. I really love looking at it. I mean, the ability of the Deca animators to get these shots, like looking this cinematic in the Cryptic Cutscene Editor, which I've battled before for my life, that takes a lot of dedication and skill. I'm really impressed with what they were able to do.
Yeah, and I want to shout out Weston. He was there.
Yeah.
He gave him a lot of support, and he did a couple shots for this too. And we coming into this, I did a lot of like storyboarding to get the kind of the layout and the framing that we wanted to get that cinematic feel, right? And so
Yeah.
it's fun. It's a lot of work, but doing all those storyboards, and I should now that this is out, I should release the storyboards for this.
Yes, you should.
You can kind of see how it evolved over time.
Yeah. Well, that's super cool. All right, so this is an awesome trailer. We can keep watching it on loop while we talk some more. Folks, you have if you have questions for Jeremy or Pundus or Thomas, feel free to fire them off in chat. I will read the good ones to them, and then they will answer them. Jeremy, if you answer questions I did not read to you, I'm not responsible for your fate.
Okay.
Just as a quick reminder, they can't talk about upcoming content that hasn't been announced. It's not going to happen. There's a good reason for that. Game development, you don't want to accidentally promise something because then people get big mad if that thing changes, and things change in game development all the time. Be cool. If your question is overly aggressive, it won't get asked, and you'll probably get banned. And as always, any question phrased in the form of blank when will be mercilessly mocked by me. So there we go. Let's hit some questions. Okay, well, they kind of started rolling in already. Thank you for the bits, Ice Queen. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's see. Ice Queen wants to know, and she gave me bits, so she gets the first question. I can be bribed. Are there plans for any more legendary ships in the future?
Well, that kind of touches on we don't talk about
right, and not like specifically like what ships there are. Just is that still something you're working on?
Yes. So there are design considerations of what a legendary ship is that we have to take into consideration when we're thinking about what ships to release in the future. It has to have a ship with a pretty robust lineage. That means multiple variants that already exist, as well as a reason for us to want to make a new variant of that ship. So I will say there are some that we've been kicking around ideas for. I don't know when exactly they come out or if they're even not going to come out. The list of ships that kind of qualify on the design side for what a legendary ship is supposed to be is not a very long list. So we won't be able to do it forever. But it is something that we have discussed now and again. So it's not off the table, but I can't say for certain.
For sure. Hunter Bahamut wants to know, for the console on the Okinawa, does it work with ships with enhanced cloaking devices, like ones that can fire projectiles while cloaked?
Probably not, but maybe. I'm afraid I don't have a solid answer on that.
That's fine.
Like the advanced cloak is supposed to allow you to fire projectile weapons, which technically this is not. It's a console, not a projectile weapon, even though it behaves very much like a projectile weapon. So I would assume by default it probably isn't available, but it's possible.
Okay. Ramona wants to know, how does the Proxima handle deflector animations since it's got 2 deflectors?
Okay, so by default, pretty much every single deflector animation it's set up to only use 1 deflector, and this is a really rare exception. So by default, most of them will use the left deflector, the port side one. But Thomas let me experiment, and for the animation that plays when you press V to scan for like an anomaly or something, like those things that give you R&D materials, those will play from both deflectors.
Okay.
And only that. Nothing else will play from both deflectors.
Nice. Thank you. Endeavor wants to know if you ever get tired of releasing banger after banger.
Yeah,
I am tired. That's for sure.
I am, so.
Let's see. Katsuo and Duncan Idaho are both volunteering to be mocked. You can't be mocked just because you want it. I know what sick plans you have. Looney Welsh wants to know, and again, this is generals, not specifics. I know, and I'm going to add some context to this. I know the general thing is that Federation ships sell better, so it makes more sense to release Federation ships. But they were wondering if there was any chance of getting more, Klingon and Romulan ships in future bundles.
It's always a possibility. We have a lot of conversations, and we're going to start having them again soon because we're running out of our future roadmap for ships. Roll that out very soon. It is a topic of conversation that comes up every time we figure these stuff out. But you're right in pointing out that return on investment is a big part of that conversation. A ship takes a lot of man hours across multiple disciplines for us to be able to release something that we're proud of and that is up to a quality bar that that players have come to expect from us and we've come to expect from ourselves. And so that those man hours translates to expensive. And so we always have to make sure we're making a good return on investment, that we're meeting our monthly finance goals and all that. So we do tend to favor Federation ships just because we have a track record of knowing that they sell better. But that doesn't necessarily mean that cool KDF or Romulan ships are off the table. It just means we have to be more careful about how we plan to release them, if we plan to release them.
So one thing, I always used to say when I was doing this officially is that it's kind of a snake eating its own tail thing. Like, people weren't buying KDF and Romulan ships, so the developers made less of them, so people weren't buying them, so the developers made less of them. Breaking out of a curve like that, especially in a game this old, is difficult. It would take, something that was a massive difference in player behavior that's not likely to happen at this point.
Well, I don't know if it's possible, to be frank.
Yeah.
Because just the nature of the IP, Federation is the focus of. They're the heroes of so many of the stories.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you get an episode here and there that focuses, or even a whole story arc that focuses on Klingons or Romulan. By and large, the shows are focused on the Earth Federation humans, and so that is what people have come to expect from the IP. And I will call out too, like, I know the type of people that come and watch these live streams, they're the ship nerds. You guys are the true fans, tried and true.
The true fans. Oh, that's gonna hurt you in the future, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I just see the massively OP headline now.
Only live stream viewers are true fans.
That's true. Only people who subscribe to my live stream are true fans. Anyway, please continue.
I'm just prepping now to get canceled yet again.
Well, between Jeremy and I guess we're both getting canceled. Me for my spicy Mass Effect take.
I don't think it was even that spicy. I think most people agree with that take. Mark the Chief wants to know, for any of you who have played it, what was your favorite faction in Starfleet Command?
I will defer to Keen and Thomas to answer this. I actually never played that one.
I never played it either, Starfleet Command.
Oh, so it's just you, Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, there's the Romulan ships in Starfleet Command are actually really cool. All the motion picture era ships they made for those games for the Romulans and Klingons are all really neat. And I really like the Lyrans a lot because they were the ones with the missiles. They had ships that just like fired tons and tons of missiles, and that was a lot of fun. They were like dog people which shot missiles at you.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, and I don't know. I don't like it. They're each one. I mean, it was interesting Star Trek game because they made their, it was based on a board game called Starfleet Battles, and they made up some aliens for Starfleet Battles that got adapted into Starfleet Command. So the Hydrons and the Lyrans, I think, are both, or at least the Hydrons I know, are started out in Starfleet Battles, and they're like kind of Medusa type people.
Oh, neat.
They have like a lot of eye stalks and stuff, and but their ships were really cool. They're very like aquatic looking, and they had the diffusion beam and some other stuff. The Hellbore, and I like that stuff. And they also were very fighter driven, like had a lot of fighters. So I think I mean, that's the thing about the game that's really cool is that everybody had an identity. They had something that they did really well and that were really interesting. But I think the Hydrons are probably my favorite.
Yeah, they seem pretty cool considering we based half the consoles on this one, on that and this. Oh, yeah. Okay. What fighters are those that I just paused on the screen? Is that the Valkyries?
I think so.
Okay.
We're waiting for the stream to catch up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, that's the Kodai.
Kodai?
From the motion, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, every time it went by when we were watching the trailer, it looked like a smaller silver bird of prey, and I was like, what am I seeing here? All right. Cthulhu wants to know if y'all get data on what cosmetics people use. I think he's asking specifically for ships in this case to see if there's a clear winner on what the most popular era of Trek is in terms of STO players.
I don't
I
think
don't
we
think
do.
that I know we don't currently have those reports, but I'm also questioning whether or not we could even get them if we asked for them.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd almost have. Oh God, yeah. I don't. The way costume data works is the data is saved by piece.
Right.
So you'd have to check each bone on each
Oh
costume,
no.
and then try to decipher all of that.
I think gathering that data might
yeah.
crash the servers.
Yeah, I don't think it's practically possible. I think it could be possible theoretically, but I'm sure there are better things to do with our time.
Yeah. Okay, Trexpert has a question for Pundus, and only Pundus it seems. If you could add a fourth ship from Legacy, would you go Acula with its underslung cannon, or the Apollo with its TMP era Challengerness?
I would well, my favorite ship in Legacy is neither of them. It's probably the Strider class, which is a TMP era looking ship, but it's classed in Enterprise era in Star Trek Legacy. But it's also really similar looking to what we have in the game now, the Aurora class variant for the Nova designed by E.C. Henry. So I'm happy with what we have in STO.
Ramona says the Venn diagram of true Star Trek fans and League of Swords fans is a circle. That's good wisdom. Yeah.
I love that you were asked a question with a multiple choice and you said neither. Haha.
Yeah. Exactly. Rachel, I'm not going to pass that particular question on. Sorry, it just doesn't seem like it's within the scope of this stream. That's a bunch of people. Folks, if you're just asking, can you add this material to this ship, or can you add this alien to the character creator? We're not going to ask those kinds of things because that's not what we're here talking about. Let's see. Okay, so
one thing that I am interested in getting in the near future that'll help us judge for future ship releases and bundles. I'm kind of amping here while you gather more questions. I'm really interested in gathering reports of what ships people are currently flying, because we know that even players that are big spenders, that they like to buy all the ships, they collect all the consoles and everything. It doesn't necessarily, like, even if you like this bundle, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be flying any of these ships long term. We know that. That's how players play the game. You might try them out and then go back to your Oberth. We know how much you love the Oberth. So, but getting reports on that, very thorough reports on what players are flying at any single point in time, is something that we've been lacking in our analytics over the years, and it's something I'm really interested in trying to get our hands on in the very near future. So, yeah, better information about how people are currently actively, what they have equipped as their primary starship is something I'm looking to gather in the future.
A couple of folks asked about the pulse pager sounds. We talked about it earlier in the stream. It's already been recorded on the Discord, so jump for that. Let's see. Okay, here's one for all of y'all. If you could do a 3-ship legally complicated bundle with FASA ships and Franz Joseph ships, what ships would you choose and why?
It's got to be the Saladin, the Federation, and
when you're talking about legally complicated, I kind of want to be able to release the what was that ship that was created for the DS9 documentary?
Oh, the
Emmett Till, yeah.
Yeah, Emmett Till.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to work that out. All the complicated.
Yeah, we wanted to do that one for a long time.
Yeah, it's not a video game, but it just came to mind.
Yeah. Well, fast
even more legally complicated. I want to do and I know you're on board. So I want to do the Protector.
Yep.
Yeah, that was on my
we were so close. I'm still mad about that. Okay. Disco, did you mean book, or did you mean look? I assume you meant look, but I want to ask the question correctly. Let's see.
Maybe bug? What's the visual bug? Most difficult bug?
Oh, it might be bug. Yeah.
Sorry, I read the chat.
Sorry, I know. No, it's okay. I know you will. I know you can't control yourself. Let's see. I'm trying to see. A lot of these are now comments or requests for specific things. Or you said I want to know what ships people are flying, and so people decided to give you a bunch of data by telling you their the exact ship they're flying in chat. Because that's the best way for us to gather data. Okay, you did mean bug. Okay, so Disco wanted to know what the most difficult visual bug on a ship to fix was.
Go ahead, Keen.
I'm trying to think of bugs I fixed, and now I can't think of any.
Keen has fixed a lot of bugs.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done a lot, but I can't remember any of it.
Well, because once you fix it, it's no longer difficult. Right?
Yeah,
You
well,
figured it out.
and you know
Yeah,
the way
that's
our
true.
brains work, boo, it's gone. Let's see.
I mean, I've always I remember some of the more esoteric ones, and I don't remember if we've actually gotten them fixed. But we've had issues with warp outs, bugging out for various different ships, or getting overridden by other stuff. Those tend to be some of the most complex stuff. Like when you're talking about not like material problems or geo being out of position or nodes being out of position, but when you get down to like some of the underpinnings of how ships function. Actually, there's a really difficult bug right now with ships with temporary ships, like you fly in the Doomsday device,
Yeah.
which can just kick you out of the game when you get switched over to them.
Oh, fun!
Yeah, I think we have actually a fix that'll be coming in a patch for that particular bug, but those are the ones that stand out to me as the ones that are really difficult to fix. Is the stuff that's sort of black box. It's not the design stuff. It's not the artwork per se. It's like how things connect to one another.
Yeah. Cool. Seraph Quinn was asking about Orville references, to which I wanted to add, since everything in the Orville is a reference to Star Trek, does that make everything in Star Trek an Orville reference? Have we already done it? Did we succeed? This is a question from Gunpla Steve, which Gunpla Steve, post your Gunplas in the Discord. I want to see them. I want to see the pretty robots. Bring them to me. But second of all, now I know this is an upcoming content, but I know Thomas has answered questions like these in the past because he loves talking about ships. So he wanted to know if there's anything you could tell us about the Atlas remaster.
We remastered the Atlas.
Ah, okay.
I mean, we usually, well, it's funny because people are like, they don't do that unless they have something planned, and that's not actually true. We do sometimes remaster shit to stuff, excuse me. We sometimes remaster things because we want to, and we get some time, we get some extra time or bandwidth to do it. All I'll say is this was not the case in that situation. So just keep keep your eyes, ears open.
Oh, so
There's also like sometimes it goes the other direction too. Like it'll just be something like, oh, we just wanted to remaster it because it was old. And then in our next ship planning conversation, we're like, hey, we just remastered this thing. Maybe we should do something with it.
Right.
and by we, you mean Thomas.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm not the only person who works on this game, guys.
No, I just know that if there's a ship that's looking old, like if it's an old looking ship in our game, it's like a splinter in your mind. That just stays there until you're like, fine, I'll do it myself.
That's a really good analogy.
Yeah. All right.
Psychic damage.
Talking about real quick, other people that work on these things. I realized that I neglected giving credit to the designers that actually ships. Like I don't want to come across as though these the designs are all mine. I'm the lead designer now. I don't actually get to get my hands dirty. So I want to call out Phil Harris, who's a senior systems designer. Worked on the Proxima and the Okinawa, I believe, and Miku Vo, who used to be a systems designer on Neverwinter. Deca actually poached her when her employment ended with Cryptic, and she now works for Deca, and she's on our team now. We got her from Neverwinter, but she did the Ranger, the Warden.
Nice.
I believe I got those right as far as who owns which.
Well done.
I think this is actually the first of her ships to go live, but she's worked on others for us that would be releasing eventually.
That's awesome. Okay, we have another Trexpert question. eons ago, Thomas asked about the size of the Atlas and maybe upscaling it. Was that just part of the remaster, or was anything coming from that?
I'll let you take that one, Keen.
Other way around, no upscaling.
Oh, downscaling. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, people have noticed.
Okay.
And it's so much nicer now.
So yeah, I mean we scaled the Atlas down. It was something actually. It's something I think back when I still used Twitter. It's something I asked kind of a lot of the people who followed me there about it. Would they be cool with us downscaling the TOS dreadnoughts, not just the Atlas, but the the what is it, the D9
D9 and the Thry.
Thry, yeah. And so a lot of people were, some people didn't like that idea, but a lot of people were into it because of the scale issues of having a just the era, the ships should be of that era shouldn't be super huge, right? The TOS era, you kind of have an expectation about how big ships are. So I filed that away, and then when it came to remastering the Atlas, I wanted to do it, but I was also very nervous to do it. And then I think both Keen and Jamie begged to do it for the sake of that feeling of getting the feeling right and the progression of scale right. That's an important part of ships, is that progressing through the eras and the scale of things. They get, things generally get bigger. It's not always, but generally are supposed to get bigger as time goes on. So so Keen did it. He convinced me to let him do it, and he did it, and I think I've only seen one person complain.
Nice.
So hopefully generally people are happy with the new sizes. We did all three of them. It wasn't just the Atlas, the Thry and the D9 also received a scale adjustment because I wanted to make sure that they stayed relatively the same size.
And in addition, I redid all of the windows most of the windows for the D9 and the Thry, so they aren't stupidly big, like 5-meter tall windows anymore.
Yeah, I think that really was an important upgrade to those ships too. We didn't do a full remaster on them, but we did adjust the windows to be better.
Nice. So I have big apologies to YouTube chat. Multi-chat broke early in the stream, so I've only been looking at Twitch chat because that's I usually don't get very many comments on YouTube. Thankfully, Gobo, my brother, just texted me to be like, YouTube chat! And so I'm now looking at it on my phone. My apologies for missing you all. It looks like we've got a question from Chris Bruce. So in the last bundle, the Pioneer 2 actually accidentally came with an experimental weapon. He says experimental console. I assume he means experimental weapon. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Was it ever meant to be a Raider escort at one point?
Yes, it was. That's how it ended up slipping live. And anybody that noted, I think you're talking about the dilithium destructor charge, which slipped out as in the Reclaim store. It was never on the ship, but at one point the under the hood hookups had it linked to the Reclaim store. So yes, it was at one point going to be a ship that had an experimental weapon slot, but things change. We iterate on everything many times over in the course of making them. Every ship goes through some sort of iterative process, and midstream redesigns are not a rarity. Game design is a pretty messy and iterative process overall. A lot of stuff changes from the moment that you conceptualize it to the moment it goes live, sometimes in huge ways.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm looking at this. There's some fun chat, but there's not very many questions, and that is okay. I love you all, and sometimes we don't have things to ask. My plan was, after the interview was done, to do a little bit of streaming of Star Trek Online myself, but I've looked at the time, and I realized earlier when Jeremy off camera said he was sorry it was a longer stream, I had thought we'd only been talking for like an hour at that point, so I was like, what's he talking about? It's been like 2.5 hours. So And I can hear the pounding of tiny feet upstairs, which means my daughter has come home. So I am gonna sign us off. But first, I want to say a big thank you to Jeremy and Pundus and Thomas for all being here today and for all your work on this game. I know everybody in both chats really appreciates it. Let's start with Jeremy. Where can people go if they want to find you? Besides your house.
I'm not terribly active. Yeah, don't find me at home, please. But I'm not terribly active. But Blue Sky is probably one of the best places to try to reach out. I will also plug our official Discord as another way that you can not necessarily reach me directly, but reach the developers in general if you have questions or want to do bug reports. It's a place we're really trying to play up our Discord and make it a much more useful tool for both us and for you guys as players. So either Blue Sky, I think the name there is Bordicus Cryptic, or the Discord. Those are good ways to get in touch.
What you should do on the Discord is you should just tag Jeremy's account with everything you post, just to be sure. No, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
I signed up to that particular Discord with my non-personal account.
Yep.
So with a new work account, just to prevent that.
Yeah. I remember one of my first conversations with Jeremy was, how do I stop people from tagging me on Reddit? All right, Pundus, where can we find you?
Also on Blue Sky, pundus.art, and you can find me in the official Discord as well.
Nice. And Thomas?
I am on Blue Sky as at Thomas the Cat .Blue Sky whatever. That's the best. I haven't made the jump to the official Discord server, but I am on the I think the StoWiki Discord server.
Oh, nice.
I'll probably join to the official one at some point.
Follow Jeremy's
but
lead.
Blue Sky's probably Blue Sky's probably the best place to get a hold of me.
Apparently, I'm being put on a timeout in the Discord now. Thank you, Sona. I appreciate your fairness in this just punishment. All right, well, folks, it has been an honor and pleasure having all of these wonderful guests and having all of you lovely people in chat. Thank you so much for being here and for hanging out with us. I appreciate everything you guys have said. Chris Hales, we talked about pulse phasers already. Go watch the VOD. All right, so there's a couple of things. First of all, speaking of Discords, there's a Discord for this stream as well as for my podcast network and for the League of Swords. Click that link right there. It just popped up in Twitch chat, and you can go there and join us and hang out. It's a pretty great community. I also have socials to follow. They are Vengeance God on Blue Sky and Broken Infinity Films on Instagram. And then we have merch now. It's pretty exciting. We have a lot of cool stuff in the merch, and I'm going to pull up the pictures. Thank you for that, Trexpert. I appreciate you greatly. Let me see. So remove this one. Add this one. Just a moment. There we go. If you click on the link that's about to appear in your chat, you can buy a bunch of different fun t-shirts, including this one with my stream logo, if you want to advertise that you listen to the coolest stream on the planet and you're a true fan. We also have a couple of Oberth designs designed by one Duncan Idaho. They both say a frisbee strapped to a canoe. We've got the Ludonarrative Dissonance shirt. We've got Right About the Last Jedi. And we've got Umadrin Bro. So all of those are awesome. All of them are from the store. You can see the link right now in chat. Please come and join us. And let's see. I have a wish list. Do you want to buy me stuff? Do you like giving me things? I don't know why you would, but if you do, there's a link right there, and you can buy me stuff, and it's pretty great. I should take this merch off my face while I'm talking. Of course, we have to do... I have 3 podcasts on the Ace of Geeks podcast network. I think you'll all enjoy all of them. I think you'll all especially enjoy Yavin Radio, which, although it's a Star Wars podcast, is a very, very lower decks coded. It's about 2 losers in the Rebel Alliance who interview the random people they find around Yavin base, and I think you'll get a kick out of it. And finally, I've got the League of Swords, which you saw something of today. And if you go and subscribe to the channel, you'll know when new episodes come out. And there's at least 2 events I need to edit to get out, so there should be new episodes coming soon. All right, everybody. Now becomes the most important part of the stream, where I decide who I'm going to raid. And since we have big numbers today, I'm definitely going to look for a smaller person to raid, because that amuses me. Not so much amuses me, but it makes me happy. So let's see. We've got a couple of different people who are on. It's saying Jason Charles Miller is not streaming right now, which is unfortunate. But I think he gets more viewers than me anyway. You know what? Peace X Peace is on. She's great. Y'all will enjoy it. Or they're great. I think I may. Anyway, doesn't matter. Well, it does, but not right now. So, raid. Okay, so we are going to fire that off into the wind. All right, folks. Thank you all so much for being here. I really love hanging out with you. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. PT, 10 p.m. ET for some Warframe with my friends Maury and Rowan. It's going to be hilarious. I think you'll all enjoy it. See you very soon. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike.
Bye.
Thanks, folks. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye.